Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we are breaking down a highly actionable 5-step paycheck routine that's literally designed to transform your income into automated wealth. I mean, if you ever felt like your money just vanishes the exact second it hits your bank account, well, you definitely aren't alone. So let's figure out how to fix that, shall we? Because let's just look at the math for a second. Spending just $5 a day on a morning coffee, maybe 15 on lunch, a few dollars here and there on transport, and letting those unused subscriptions just sit there, it silently drains about $10,000 a year from your pocket, right? 10 grand. It's staggering. And it happens simply because most of us just lack a structured routine for our money. So to solve this whole disappearing paycheck mystery, we're going to walk through the exact chronological journey your money should take. We're talking separating wants and needs, building a safety net, crushing high-interest debt, growing wealth tax-free, and finally taking calculated risks. All right, step 1, separate your wants and needs. Now, I know, it sounds incredibly basic, but believe me, it is the absolute bedrock foundation of this entire routine. To actually do this, you need to look back at your last few months of expenses and nail down your financial baseline. This is essentially the core cost of your existence. Look at your true bare minimum needs, rent, insurance, utility bills. If you can honestly survive without it, well, it's a want. Add up those survival essentials, and let's say it comes to $1,200 a month. Okay, that is your bare minimum just to get by. Now, here is the ideal target split we are really aiming for. You want to keep your needs and your wants to a maximum of 25% each. Why? Because that leaves a massive 50% of your paycheck completely free to actually get you ahead in life and build wealth. Now listen, if your rent alone is taking up more than 25% right now, do not panic. This is simply a target to work towards, maybe by eventually lowering your bills or, increasing your income through a side hustle. Moving right along to step 2, build a safety net. Okay, so with that magical half of your paycheck remaining, the very next bucket you have to fill is an emergency fund for all of life's inevitable curveballs. You should immediately route 20% of your total paycheck into a high-interest savings account. But here's the kicker. It needs to be at a completely different bank, like Chase or Ally. The whole idea is that if you have to wait 2 whole days to transfer the money back, you completely remove the temptation to just blow it on a whim. And this is absolutely crucial because right now, a staggering 1 in 5 Americans have zero emergency savings. Literally nothing. You want to funnel that 20% here until you have 3 to 6 months of your financial baseline totally saved up. This is your shield. It protects you from unexpected disasters and keeps you from kicking out those toxic high-interest loans just to survive. All right, step 3, crush high-interest debt. Now, we are allocating the remaining 30% of your paycheck to crush what the source material so perfectly describes as a parasite. I mean, think about it like this. Why would you ask a doctor for a perfect diet plan if you knowingly have a parasite inside your body just sucking away all your nutrients? It makes no sense, right? Why invest your money to maybe get an 8% return when a credit card is actively eating your wealth at a guaranteed 20% interest rate? You've got to cure the parasite first. So the crucial strategy here is actively choosing the logical avalanche method over the psychological snowball method. Look, if you have a credit card at 20% and maybe a car loan at 15%, tackling the smallest balance first, that's the snowball method, well, it might feel really good, but mathematically, it is a total trap. By attacking your highest interest rates first, the avalanche method, you literally save yourself months of time and over $1,000 in unnecessary fees. I mean, would you rather pay $600 in interest or $1,700? It's a no-brainer. Which brings us to step 4, grow wealth tax-free. This is where it gets really fun. Once your safety net is totally full and that parasitic debt is completely crushed, you graduate to combining that leftover 50% to aggressively grow your wealth. You're going to want to take 35 to 40% of that excess money and funnel it straight into a tax-advantaged account. So like a Roth IRA if you're in the US or a stocks and shares ISA in the UK. Seriously, investing just $250 a month into an S&P 500 index fund could legally grow to $1.3 million over 45 years, completely tax-free. It's almost hard to believe, but honestly, that is just the magic of compound interest. The real trick here, though, is setting up a completely frictionless pipeline because, let's face it, we are usually our own worst enemies when it comes to money. So open up a brokerage app like Trading 212 or Vanguard. Select an accumulation fund so your dividends automatically reinvest and turn on auto invest. Done. The host of our source material actually had his son test this exact thing with just £5 a day, basically the cost of a coffee. A year later, the kid completely forgot about it and was absolutely shocked to find a 13% return just sitting right there. And finally, step 5, take calculated risks. Now, for those of you who really don't want to wait 45 years slowly building millions on index funds alone, you can allocate the absolute final 5 to 10% of your paycheck to the fast lane. You can use it to creatively fund a side hustle, where honestly being on a tight budget actually becomes a superpower because it forces you to find unique market gaps. Or you can put that final 5% into highly volatile, long-term plays like major cryptocurrencies. You just have to be entirely comfortable with the fact that this specific chunk of change could, potentially, drop to zero. Okay, you now have the complete step-by-step waterfall routine to automate your wealth, from securing your baseline all the way to destroying debt and investing on absolute autopilot. The system works, but only if you actually start. So knowing what you know right now about the invisible math draining your accounts, where exactly is your very next paycheck going to go?